PyanGo Budgetary Control provides detailed encumbrance accounting for nonprofit organizations. PyanGo has created an innovative budgetary and commitment control solution that seamlessly integrates with NetSuite financial applications. It verifies imminent future financial obligations against budgets, so users can perform budget checks at various stages on the procure-to-pay business process. Real-time warning and error messages for any transaction that exceeds funds available based on the budget option is defined by the user, and a full audit trail provides complete regulatory compliance. It will check budgets against multiple classifications such as fund, department, location, account, and even projects. Budgets can also be imported from a wide variety of planning tools, even Excel spreadsheets. In this scenario, we are a nonprofit delivering physical therapy services and devices to disabled kids throughout Central America. There will be different projects set up where therapists will travel to different destinations and train the kids on how to use different devices and outfit it to their correct body size. Expenses will be incurred, and we'll go through the whole process of how that looks like on PyanGo. Go ahead and click on Transactions, then scroll down to Budgetary Control, and then click on Encumbrance Inquiry. The first set of columns that I've highlighted represent the specific account that we will be purchasing an item for, so in this case, a wheelchair. So we have the subsidiary, what fund we will be pulling the money from, what department it will be for, as well as which location. The pre-encumbrance section represents the unapproved purchase order. It gives an indication of what are the purchase requisitions that are going to be applied against this project. Then, the encumbrance column shows the approved or committed funds. This means that they are purchase orders that have already been approved or purchased. Finally, the expensed amount refers to invoices or vendor bills that we have received from the vendor, and we need to pay them. So what will happen is the pre-encumbrance amount will move to encumbrance and will then show as expensed. Let's start by creating a purchase order. So go ahead and click on Transactions, then Purchases/Vendors, and then enter Purchase Orders. So what we will be doing is purchase wheelchairs from this vendor, American Hospital Supply. What we're going to do is enter in the amount and the quantity, set it to pending approval, and then click Save. Now take a look at what happens when you go back to the results for the budgetary control inquiry. When you take a look at the remaining amount, it takes into effect all three values: pre-encumbrance, encumbrance, and expense amount. It adds up all the values and then subtracting them from the budget amount. This gives the procurement buyer visibility into what is in their budget if they included all the uncommitted expenses. The last column, which is available balance, is impacted only by these two values, the encumbrance and the expense amount. So the available balance represents only committed funds. If any items go over budget, it will be highlighted in red. Let's go back to our purchase order and approve it. Let's say, for example, you decide to change the quantity to 2 and accidentally put 222. A pop-up will appear to warn you that you are exceeding your remaining budget. You can also configure the system to require the user to fix the error so that they are not allowed to continue until they fix that line. Once you've saved and approved your purchase order for 2 wheelchairs, let's take a look at what happens. So the $60 that used to be in the pre-encumbrance amount has now moved over to the encumbrance amount. So since we purchased 2 wheelchairs, it adds up to $120 on top of the $140 that was originally in the encumbrance amount. So it totals up to $260. You can also drill down by clicking on the View link to show an audit trail of all the transactions that you've made. For example, here it shows how the $60 in the pre-encumbrance was taken out and was moved into the encumbrance stage. You can even drill down in the budget activity and see the link back to the purchase order. You can see which purchase order has impacted this particular budget. By going back to the purchase order, I'm going to now bill it. So what this means is I'm going to complete the procurement process by billing this purchase order, which then creates a vendor bill. When you scroll down, you will see the Expenses and Items tab. So oftentimes, the Accounts Payable department might change the fund or department on the vendor bill if they find that the purchase order was charged to the wrong fund or department. In such cases, the system will automatically relieve the encumbrance that was recorded on the purchase order and record the expense specified on the vendor bill. You can click on Fund or Department to highlight how these can be changed. We can also consolidate purchase orders, so you can have 4 or 5 purchase orders all from a single vendor and you will pay only one single invoice. Once our vendor bill has been processed, you can see that the $120 moved from the encumbrance amount into the expense amount. When we drill down, we can see that the $120 moved from encumbrance to expense. So let's take a look at it a little bit more closely. So when I look at the expense and budget activity, it was this vendor bill that was created, which was actually from this other purchase order. Here is where I can have a lot of detail around different line items from different purchase orders being applied to a particular vendor bill and impacting different budgets. Our platform also supports employees' expense reports for travel, general ledger journal entries, and you can also import data from third-party systems. PyanGo Budgetary Control solves over-budget spending and increases visibility into the procurement and expense spending at your organization. This solution is built on top of the NetSuite platform as part of the SuiteCloud Developers Network. Therefore, no additional data storage or security requirements are needed. It is built for NetSuite certified with each major release. Please contact sales at pyango.com for further information and questions.